Hey friends, welcome to the video. The new season, Season of the Witch, just kicked off, and with that, of course, is new gear to acquire. And today's video is going to just tell you what I'm interested in. So I'm going to drag a bunch of tabs over, and we'll go through it itemized, not everything, but most importantly, what is interesting to me. So just scrolling down, you can go to Light GG and go to the new weapon section to see this for yourself. But now without further ado, let's get into Dead Man's Tale. You do the rotator mission thing and you get it. Just search a guide on YouTube. This is my ideal role. You go fitted stock, steady rounds for an AE bonus, corkscrew to fix the range you lose from steady rounds, and I don't think you get a masterwork because it's a craftable exotic. Now there is a new perk here, and they also removed a really good perk here from the old version. Shoot to loot has a lot of applications in PvP, so I might even craft 2 of them, but I also like the safety that Vorpal Weapon provides because if somebody sees a streamer, they just feel compelled to super. So anyway, we lost Snapshot on DMT, which that kind of sucks. It made the weapon so much better to use. It was so consistent, and that's going to be a theme of today's video. A lot of why I'm not interested in gear is because they FOMO'd the role, fear of missing out. They removed key perks that I was farming for then and never got, and now I might never have an opportunity to get a weapon like that again. So I don't like Bungie doing that. Let's use Igneous Hammer as an example, right? That just came back, and it looks entirely different from the old Igneous Hammer. Why not just bring back the old Igneous Hammer, and then alongside it, a different version? It could say V2, just like the Aikilos weapons, or it could just be a different gun entirely. I mean, how many times have they reskinned better doubles? This could be the Ignorant Hammer. I don't know. It's just the perk FOMO each season makes me hesitant to be excited for things because like months ago, almost years ago when this thing comes out, I'm thinking of the exact build I want to use it in. I'm thinking of the daily driver role. I'm thinking of the PvE applications, and I just can't ever get it again. That sucks. Moving on, let's go with Warden's Law. This is a new Nightfall weapon reward, and this role doesn't look that flashy, but I'm building it for consistency. Its damage profile is incredible. When you start adding things like Radiant and whatnot to it, it's just going to be an overall consistent 2 head 1 body, 1 head 2 body. Zen Moment is such a slept on perk for consistency, both with not getting flinched off target and also with having a clearer sight picture to hit the target better. It is borderline one of the best perks in the game, and I said I was moving off the FOMO discussion. The Last Wish hand cannon, called Nation of Beast, used to have Zen Moment on it with explosive rounds, right? Which would have been sick because it would have double procced the perk. 2 stacks of Zen Moment per 1 shot. Warden's Law is a double-shotting hand cannon by nature, so I actually think Zen Moment here is going to be just an incredible pick. And since the handling is at 22, because I'm trying to boost the recoil, direction, and stability up, I'm going with Snapshot. Also, if I plan to run this with Radiant a lot of the time, kind of like I do with Crimson, then I might also be running a handling buff, which will make the gun feel very awkward when it all of a sudden gets a jump of like 30 to 50 handling out of nowhere when you're used to a sluggish ADS speed. So Snapshot gives it a level of consistency that makes my aim better. Zen Moment is a level of consistency that makes my aim better. Yes, I will keep one if it ever gets kill clip, but this is ideally what I'm going for. This has potential to be one of my favorite weapons in the entire game because it combines so many fun aspects of a first-person shooter to me. It's a burst damage weapon, but it's also a tracking weapon. So I'm very, very, very curious to see how it feels. And like I said, it just has potential to be one of my favorites of all time. And maybe not Warden's Law, but maybe the next version of this archetype. The 2-shot ones. But the Monkey's Paw curls in Destiny 2. I'm going to see in a future season that we're getting another aggressive burst hand cannon, and it's not going to have Zen Moment, and it's not going to have Snapshot, and so by comparison, it's going to be rendered like useless, even though its AE stat might be good. So that's what I fear when we see another version of this. Moving on, the Crucible reward gives us a competitive submachine gun. Now, the first thing I want you to pay attention to is the time to kill. 0.8. At target lock, it's consistently 0.7. The Immortal Adept, which I need to add to my other page, one sec. I'll just talk as I type. The Immortal Adept comes out with a TTK of 0.67. So, there we go. 0.67 versus 0.7. In Destiny 2, a game with this much latency, you are not going to notice 0.03. You're just not. And so, this gun is a dream for multiple reasons. Number one, it's easily obtainable. Do 3 Crucible or 4 Crucible resets, and then just turn in your engrams to target focus this. You can do that now. And ideally, you shoot for moving target, target lock, maybe killing wind. DSR is kind of a bait perk, but it's good. The reason it's a bait perk is because by the time it gets to a good level, well, you're already killing the opponent. But with target lock, if you are an especially cracked gamer, you can just spray transfer between 2 targets and keep it ramped up. I'm definitely going to be chasing that clip, but I don't know if I'm going to do it with DSR. I have an affinity for the offhand strike perk. I think it's really, really good, and I honestly just aim better with it. There's a second reason this is good, is because it's a stasis weapon. A Behemoth Titan got nerfed, and there is a cool interaction with Behemoth and stasis weapons where after a certain amount of stasis kills, you create an ice javelin that you can throw and freeze people. And this SMG can do it while remaining competitive with its time to kill and range. So for all those reasons, this SMG is incredible, but it has one flaw to it that if I tell you, you will never be able to unsee it. So I want you to skip ahead about 20 seconds or so if you don't want to hear it, because I'm about to say it now. If you aim down sights and move left to right very rapidly, you're going to see some harsh scope sway. Shayera's Wrath kinda has this problem, and to be honest, a lot of controller players say like, I don't know what you're talking about, the gun's great. Whereas the M&K players can't hit the broadside of a barn if they are AD left-right strafing. So, now you know. The next weapon that I'm interested in is Point of the Stag. This is an Iron Banner bow, and it has some very interesting options. The first one is Swashbuckler. And by the way, if you didn't know, I'm going to pull up another tab here. There is a kinetic version of this called the Biting Winds. So this is the other Swashbuckler bow. This has shot swap in addition to Swashbuckler. It also has Archer's Tempo. So here's how I build it. It's based on one of these 2 perks. If I'm swapping from the bow to like a hand cannon to clean up, I want shot swap. If I'm using the bow in like a grenade launcher or a special weapon or something like that, I want Archer's Tempo, because typically I'm going to have to rely on the bow more often than not to just win by itself. Also going for kill streaks, with Swashbuckler being able to one-tap people. 201 to the dome, even kills 10 Resilience Titans. Archer's Tempo's speed just allows you to farm 7th columns, but I think I might err on shot swap for most of my builds, but if I get Archer's Tempo, I'm done, no more engrams, we're moving on. For Biting Winds, just in case you want to farm that, you farm it on Europa, and I think the optimal role for all bows that are precision is always Elastic String, Draw Time Masterwork, and then the Reload magazine perk. You can also go for the accuracy or handling ones, that's fine too, but reload matters. Reload also matters with rapid hit if you really want to go that direction too, but very unlikely you get to 5 stacks. So I think moving target is the move, even if you hip fire that much. I personally have Killing Wind on it, which might actually make a difference considering how they changed bows in recent seasons or how they might change bows in the future. So I'm not too pressed about Killing Wind. It does the job, but I still would have preferred moving target. Okay, and now we get to Ignorant Hammer. I am building this to do what the old version could not, because my old version, flipped him, is missing a magazine perk. So this is my old version. Quick Draw, Snapshot, Hammer Forge, if it just had extended mag, this would be literally perfect. This would be my daily driver. Since I own something close enough to my daily driver, I'm not going to try to recreate the wheel. I'm just going to go get a 7th column hunting build. And so what I'm trying to do is use Radiant with a single stack of Tricorn. And now it's hitting 2 taps. And then if I get a kill, I could just reload, which is easy if you're using the Radiant buff because you could just reload fast with the Gunslinger buff. So the combination of all of this together has potential for 7th columns in like Iron Banner or something. So yeah, I'll keep my eye out for this. But like honestly, if I end up skipping every Trials week of Igneous Hammer because it's on a bad map or something, I'm not losing any sleep over it. In fact, I'm gaining sleep. That's good. So this would be my daily driver. I always think stability on 120s is underrated and recoil direction is underrated. So if you can get both of those, that's great. And even though it lowers the handling, Snapshot makes it a consistent experience and Quick Draw lets you get to the gun faster. Then there's also a PvE version of Igneous Hammer that was, yes, FOMO'd again. So we have Fluted Barrel because you just want as high handling as possible, don't care about the shooting experience, and then Subsistence Rampage. If you get a 1-tap on any ad, it'll reload 3 bullets since you're stacking this many bullets together. And I think you just need a normal backup mag and that combo works. Maybe you don't even need the backup mag. If not, you just run like, I don't know, major spec, minor spec, and you'll be good. New shotgun, I presume this comes from the Vanguard. It's a returning weapon. This has Slick Draw. First time we've ever seen it on a shotgun, and also Barrel Constrictor. This is like a better kill perk for a shotgun. I want to feel this out before I give judgments on it or say it's a must-have or anything, but this has potential to be very useful in a lot of my builds that just simply cannot have a high-handling shotgun. Oh, look, it's only been like 2 minutes since I talked about FOMO, if that, and we're already back to it. The Macabre Sniper Rifle is probably the best in the entire game for sniping. I'm not even playing. However, there are 2 or 3 things that irk me about it in the FOMO department. Number 1, we are missing Swashbuckler. This was the only snipe in the game that could do it. I farmed repeatedly on multiple characters to get the best Swashbuckler roll, and it just never could do it. And that was a terrible event. I don't want to do more Halloween Lost Sectors. I just want a Swashbuckler snipe. Make it happen, Bungie. The second part is kind of petty. It's the Search Party Origin trait. So, if you're a very consistent aimer, this is all of a sudden changing your muscle memory. Because you're all of a sudden getting a huge scalar to ADS. And the part that's petty about it is the other Halloween weapons have a second origin trait, but Macabre still has the original Search Party. Yes, I am willing to make my gun aim down sight slower if it means more consistency. Why is this the best snipe in the game, though? The answer is because it has a base 5 airborne effectiveness, so if you stack Extended Mag and Icarus Grip, you get to 30. And 30 is an extremely important number for Top Tree Dawnblade, the Heat Rises Dawnblade. You consume your nade, you get plus 70 airborne effectiveness, and now you're at 100. And so all you do is you switch this to opening shot plus 25 range, and you are at 100 range, 100 airborne effectiveness. And what this means is that if you put the crosshair on their head and pull the trigger, there is no RNG. It's either you hit them because you're aiming good, or you missed because you're aiming bad. And that to me is absolutely worth the grind. So at the very least, get your hands on this. There's a new Trials grenade launcher. First, I should say, I am dabbling a little bit in PvE. I'm going to go for some completionist stuff this season. And I also want to farm out PvE stuff to obtain PvP weapons and to do it a little bit more efficiently. And part of that is being able to LFG better. It's also about doing pickup groups with friends a little bit better and kind of solo carrying. And part of that is understanding low man strategies and advanced damage rotations. And I need to start bolstering my vault to contain more PvE staples. Not that all of these are, I haven't updated my vault in a very long time, but this is a good example. First in, last out, auto-loading, Vorpal weapon, that type of thing. So there are a couple PvE weapons that I think will assist in playing a variety of different roles in a pickup raid, and also being able to one-phase bosses, especially when I'm farming a dungeon on repeat. So, new PvE weapon, I know I'm a PvP channel. I am going to try to vault these if they're beyond perfect. So what do I mean by that? With an adept weapon, you actually get 2 perk columns on the right. So if I could go for like both bait and switch and I maybe explosive light, maybe I could do a damage phase where I airstrike explosive light and then menu over to bait and switch. I don't know if that interaction works, but you can definitely squeeze some extra damage. Recently, the Witch Queen expansion was free for a weekend, so this is why this video is getting late to y'all, by the way. It's because I spent the weekend playing multiple free-to-play accounts for fun, because the game is more fun when you're minus 50 and that type of thing. You'll know when you see the video, but yeah, I was one-phasing bosses in the campaign by doing shenanigans like that. It's underrated and fun to have to solve a PvE puzzle. The problem is 99% of the game, and I honestly think that's a understatement. It's more than 99% of the game. It's just every boss falls over, so you don't really need to hyper optimize or solve a puzzle that much. But as soon as you start venturing into self-induced challenges, minus 50, low man content, every little percent matters and the game is more fun. But eventually, that type of PvE will lose its luster and I'll go back to PvP. Not that I'm quitting PvP, I'm just splitting my time a little bit more healthy. This is an upgrade to what I call the Cope Rocket. And I think I already deleted the Cope Rocket. It was that the holiday rocket launcher. I forget the event, Bonfire Bash. It was a tracking frame, so it was automatically bad, but it was the only strand rocket which had subclass interactions. Some of those being like you shoot your rocket in a group, someone else shoots Galahorn, your rocket's buffed, and you can start suspending enemies that the wolf packs kill. So in other words, it turns your rocket launcher into a pocket crowd control weapon to better run through GMs with pickup groups, right? So I call it the Cope Rocket because that was literally the only use case where you could justify keeping it in your vault. And this is just a raw upgrade. Like, I genuinely think it has real damage applications in 6-man day 1 raids and that type of thing, beyond just being pocket crowd control. And it has to do with bipod and then the amount of extra rockets you can backpack without having to reserve rally. Sorry, PvP folks. I'm moving on. Not explaining that because you don't care about that. Past that, I think we're good here. That's not the end of the video, by the way. We're just getting started. Now we have to talk about the weapons that are in the current season that I am still farming for. And we'll start with the seasonal comp reward. Gonna go on a rant here. Because we used to be able to obtain 3 of them. Now we can only get 1 per week. This, just like the Macabre, for the same reason, is why I think it's good. But it has one fatal flaw. I'll get to that in a moment. AE plus heat rises, 100. Range plus opening shot, 100. Therefore, if you miss, you messed up. Okay. Beyond that, it does have some cool niche rules. I'm finding Discord is applicable in some mid-level PvE farming content, so it's worth keeping an eye out for that. But in majority of cases, this is just the one and only rule. Keep your eye out for this. If you're a boots on the ground sniper, don't sleep on Mulligan with ricochet rounds. This is such a fun combo. Just go for it. You might learn some cheeky spots on maps that can get you free body shots, and sometimes you might surprise yourself and grab a clip. So this is the other rule. I think that's it. the fatal flaw of the scope. Yeah. They changed the scope. You used to have a tiny reticle that would get lost in the background. Is that a problem with the scope or a problem with the lighting engine? No, I'm not letting you decide. It's a problem with the lighting engine. But yeah, they changed the scope to be quote unquote better. And in some ways it is. The reticle is much more visible and it stands out. The problem is the peripheral vision of the scope, and in fact, I'm going to demonstrate this for you because it is jarring, and once you see it, just like that other gun, it's hard to unsee, but this is such a good gun that you can just get over it. Same as me. Let me transfer this over. I've gotten pretty close. Oh, by the way, I play multiple accounts in comp each week, all to try to grind that AE roll. I've never even gotten close. Not even extended mag. So, this is my best one so far, and we're also going to grab Macabre. And I'm also going to grab another 40 zoom snipe, preferably the Supremacy. I don't think I own the Supremacy right now. Let's do Defiance of Yasmin, although that is an outlier. And let's do stat zoom 40. I don't think it's fair to compare it to Omniscient. Let's compare it to Galu. Galu's perfect. So both Galu and Mercurial Overreach are the same zoom of 40. So is Defiance of Yasmin, which is going to be a scope outlier. And Macabre is 5 more zoom, but has a cleaner scope. And I think the scope matters for hitting your shot, especially on mouse and keyboard. So without further ado, let's compare the problems. I don't have Icarus Dash. Doing this live, by the way. Been thinking about what I want to say in these videos for a while, though, while I was grinding, so it's really not that bad. Let's put the edge of the scope. I want a clearer picture here. Let's go somewhere else. I want like a statue or something to focus on. Without ad shooting at me. This is perfect. Oh, can I not go up there? Okay, so we're going to put this statue just outside of the scope. I need a focal point though, so we're going to do this edge. There's a statue on the left that is not visible. I will not move my mouse. Now we're switching to Galu. Oh, look, the entire statue is visible. Now we're going to switch to the higher zoom Macabre. So now Macabre. It's a higher zoom, and look at the translucent, transparent black edges. You can see through those. On Mercurial Overreach, you can't. Or rather, it's so difficult to see on certain maps that you might as well not be able to. This is higher zoom, and yet it's a more clear sight picture, right? And so if you have the muscle memory to see like an arm pop up in that left side of the screen, you snap aim at it, pull the trigger. And then here is the best one. This is why I call this an outlier. Your peripheral vision isn't blocked at all. It's clear as day, which makes this one of the best mouse and keyboard snipers for someone who's willing to put in the practice, because your overall awareness is just better. However, the more I think about it, the more I would agree that having a 100% consistent in-air weapon is worth the trade-off of a slightly worse scope, right? The problem is, I can't target farm this, so I might never get that roll. That's a video topic for another day, but I don't play this game to slot machine gear. I play this game to get gear to do more fun things, to enable my character to do more, not to farm more. It's just an ideology that is completely different. I completely understand where the hardcore MMO players are coming from, but I can't subscribe to that. It just makes the game unfun for me. So maybe Bungie will find a better compromise in the future that lets you pull the slot machine lever endlessly and always feel excited about the next drop. And maybe they'll meet me halfway with a more consistent PvP experience where maybe it just master keys all the loot. We'll see. Didn't want to go too deep into that topic, but this is live commentary. Okay, so your eyes probably scanned the top tabs here, and you saw Synchronic Relay. You're like, Cam, we just got a Crucible SMG. It's so much better. If you missed it, I said there was a fatal flaw of that SMG, and I'm not repeating it, even though you could probably suss it out right now. What makes this one good is the nanotech tracer rockets. I think pulse monitor is also a sleeper perk here. And maybe this is my endgame perk, but I want keep away. Want the bonus range and accuracy of keep away with target lock for a 0.7, and then if a second target enters the screen and I snap aim, which is possible because 600 RPM, you can definitely make it to the next target before a bullet fires for sure. I just switched I more than doubled my sensitivity. I can do this. That second target is going to deleted is an understatement. They're going to be eviscerated. Their next respawn will be in the shadow realm if you hit them with a nanotech tracer and ramped up target lock at the same time. And I have hit that clip a couple times. I didn't have it on hand for this video, but I promise you, when you do it, it's going to be that like monkey neuron activated image every single time, and you'll never be able to play Destiny another way. It completely ruined me, which is why we're going to talk about positive outlook next. By the way, this gun is extremely farmable, so I don't want to hear complaining about, oh, I don't have a perfect immortal, I can't compete in PvP. Yes, you can. There's two reasons that you can. Number one, by participating in PvP, you can get the new Stasis SMG, which is 0.03 worse than the TTK, but arguably better in many other factors. Okay, I'm going to have to go into the Discord to find this one. Live commentary. Hope you like these long form videos. Okay, so here we go. This is the patrol route. Yes, I have farmed this so long that I had optimized the way to farm it. Once again, ideology. Just give me the gun so I can play PvP. This is why you don't have excuses. This is painfully easy. You unlock Neomuna. You go to the bottom area, Liming Harbor. I don't know how you say it. Neptune. Neptune down here. Occasionally, you're going to see this terminal overload thing be in Liming Harbor. And it moves to each of these three locations. So, tomorrow it'll be in Amiza Park, and then the following day it'll be in Liming Harbor. So you load up terminal overload, just like this, launch in, and then you follow this route with a Shatter Skating Hunter. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. So this is my route. I mark the little chest on the screen. You shatter skate towards the red, then the blue, then the green, then the orange. Then you open your menu and reload the patrol zone or the terminal overload again. And so what you're doing is you're putting on a ghost mod that lets you see chest. You're grabbing a sniper scope so that you can zoom in, which improves the search radius of that ghost mod. And you're just picking up chest. And the reason you're picking up chest is because of something called a terminal override key, which allows you to get the reward of this SMG. I'll do a dedicated video on this with examples, but it is harder to get the key than it is to complete the activity. So the optimal farming route is to just continue looking for keys until you're stacked at 5 in your inventory and like 2 or 3 in the postmaster. Then after that, complete the activity. If you happen to find one of these that are almost finished in progress, because I think they're on a timer and participation doesn't matter, just finish it. Just complete it right there. And sometimes what'll happen is you'll get another terminal override key from the end chest, or you'll just get an additional SMG for the bonus chest that pops up at the end of completing this. So in a matter of minutes, you have arguably the best PvP weapon. There's another thing this brings to the table, which is it's a strand weapon. I know Immortal is too, but there are some synergies with strand weapons that make them even better for kill chaining if you play it on a strand class. Also, it's cheaper on the armor mods if you're playing a strand class anyway, which honestly I feel like most of you are, because Strand Hunter is amazing and Strand Warlock just got something broken. So if you do go that route, I do think it's worth Slick Draw. It recently got buffed, so it's not as much of a negative. And trust me, going to that 100 handling is going to just, you can't play with another setup, I promise you. It's that good. Okay, so I said neuron activated, make me act up in the Vanguard strike playlist. Here we go, Zen Moment. I talked about it at the very beginning of the video. This is a life-changing perk for consistency. And on this auto rifle specifically, I'm going to show you in game because this is a live commentary. Good, I have it in my inventory. So a lot of people will tell you that we'll just go to the Liming Harbor. Oh no, that's a mistake. There are no enemies there unless there's something going on, and nobody ever starts the activity. So yeah, that's a tip I forgot to say. If you load into the terminal override zone, just start it and then research again after doing your chest route. And you start it because it's on a timer. Might as well talk about the gun while I'm flying in. Go for kill clip. There are hilarious things you could do with Golden Tricorn to turn this into a 4-tap on certain resiliences, which is like a 0.4 TTK, 0.5 TTK. It is ridiculously fast. But the setup for it, it's asking a little bit too much, but it is funny when you do it. So I'm building this auto rifle for a mix of range and consistency. Now let's talk about the negative. The negative is that, look at the scope. You might be saying, oh wow, that's clear. I could hit anything with this. Watch. Do you see? Do you see the purple circle? Osu brain? Do you see it jumping around? There's a solution to this. It's called Zen Moment. If you land any damage, that purple circle does not move. This is filmed in a live studio audience, and the drag was not cooperative. Alright, here we go. Watch the reticle. It doesn't move. When Zen Moment goes away, it moves. But for a second or two after hitting a target... Oh, that didn't work. Has to be sustained. You can just laser people. So what I've been doing in PvP, so I've been hitting them like this and then just snap. You know what? I lied. I did have the clips on hand. I just don't remember exactly which clip. To play 800 DPI with... Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the Golden Tricorn setup. This will probably be the intro of the video. But because you've watched and appreciated this video and liked it and whatever, I'm going to show you this early. So I get the kill to proc death throws on my helmet, which lets the grenade potentially one hit. And then that dude just gets fucking 4-tapped. We had a couple other moments. This is it. This is the new sense. I hit the wrong key. Did you see that speed? This is like when an anime character accidentally discovers some latent power inside of them. Like, that is the feeling you have when you do that for the first time. And as you hit it more on command, you just realize you just do this now. It's not a special trick. It's just how you play the game. It was the same thing with shooting trip mines out of the air. At first, it was just something I was going for a clip. And then I realized, wait, I'm kind of consistent enough at this to just do it. And then it stopped being special. Started being part of the playbook. A consistent gun like Positive Outlook could be that neuron activator for you. I love primary weapons. Okay, moving on. Drag the whole screen over. Strident Whistle. It's a Vanguard weapon. So whenever there is a good Vanguard reputation week, I am going for these two weapons. And a couple others there that I'm not mentioning in this video because these are the ones that I'm the farthest off the god roll. So why Adrenaline Junkie? The same reason I want Swashbuckler. I want to get a 201 crit after getting a kill with a grenade. Same thing you just saw with Golden Tricorn, but with less setup. And this works, speaking of shooting trip mines out of the air, on my Hunter. So my Hunter has a build called Gemini Solar, Harmonic Targeting, Gunpowder. And the goal is to use both Conditional Finality and a solar weapon to proc Gunpowder Gamble. To hunt the elusive, use the old school Gunpowder Gamble to proc the new school Gunpowder Gamble, to proc Adrenaline Junkie, to then start one-tapping, to then Golden Gun, to then spawn kill. Like, that is how far out you can push the clip potential of this build if you're willing to grind out just the mechanics, the understanding, the reps. And so I really want a bow like this to accomplish that. I think Archer's Tempo is the move here, but if I got Shoot to Loot, I would just call it quits. That would be the only one I have. Moving Target is also in that category. There are a couple other ones, like maybe I do want to go well-rounded, right, and push the handling all the way to max. I didn't realize the synergy here, but like, wow, that is fast handling. And the thing about the difference between Adrenaline Junkie and Swashbuckler is Swashbuckler could be activated with a neutral melee, meaning no cooldown. Adrenaline Junkie can be activated if it's in your backpack. So I could just use, like, I don't know, a trace rifle or something, keep the trace rifle out 90% of the time, and then when I accidentally pick up a grenade kill, just switch to the bow, and now I have 1-taps. But if I was using a Swashbuckler bow, had the trace rifle out, got a melee kill, swap back, I don't have Swashbuckler. Does not activate in the backpack. This also works off of Gunpowder Gamble, and it also works off of the Forerunner grenade, the rock. So this to me is just going to be so much fun. I hope they balance bows better in the future, though. Not gonna lie, I feel bad anytime I pull one out, even if it's for something fun like that. Okay, the next weapon is potentially a PvE powerhouse. What I wanted to do is replace a lot of vault space by doing a lot of different functions. So I would prefer it if it had lead from gold and 4 times the charm, a damage perk like Vorpal or Frenzy, and then a utility perk. Don't know what that is. And like honestly, if it could also be a PvP role at the same time, that would be incredible. Osmosis is a utility perk. So yeah, I will just keep rolling for these until I see the correct mix of LFG pickup raid strats and just free up vault space for like Lost Sector grinding or something in the future. So yeah, my additional engrams will go into this. Next up, dungeon weapons. I farmed a lot for this. I got good at the Acreus 1 phase. Borderline, I think if we do it perfect, we could do the Master Mode 1 phase. But I'll save that for another challenge day or something. So, yeah, it's just range, recoil direction, and then this left column, if you play Strand Hunter, dude, go well-rounded. But also, if you're playing Strand Hunter, you could just use a Strand SMG. But conditional finality exists in the game. I just glossed over that when I was talking about my Solar Hunter. Yeah, this is also part of the Gunpowder Gamble build, because I can run this on my Hunter. Conditional finality, by the way, there are 2 ways to think about this gun. I see this discourse on Twitter. Conditional finality is a problem because it kills bubble and well. Or, on the positive side of the bus, conditional finality can kill bubbles and wells. Therefore, it makes PvP playable. Conditional finality is the #1 exotic for a reason, and it is because the abilities and weapons working in tandem with the armor and whatnot, we don't have a way to beat those things in neutral. Having opportunities to shut that shit down makes the game more fun, in my opinion. So, this does not need a nerf. Doesn't need a nerf. Well and bubble need a nerf. Not conditional. You can nerf it alongside of them, but conditional is not the problem. Anyway, I like Offhand Strike, Hipfire. I have one of these with surplus for my Revenant Hunter. I had to remember the name there, Stasis Hunter. Backpack the Shurikens or backpack other things like maybe Strand Warlock. And now you're sitting with a much better stat package. Me personally though, I want Offhand Strike for the clips. And because I like Hipfire. Even with the new sense. The next dungeon weapon is Wilderflight, PvE staple. I am not using this in PvP. All I want is lead from gold, frenzy, vorpal weapon, and then spike nades. I already have one with disorienting. Next weapon is long arm scout rifle. Steady rounds for AE, arrowhead for recoil, though not 100% necessary. And then adrenaline junkie. Why? Because I want a 2-tap. Explosive payload is probably the best for using this thing in part of a loadout, but for like clip hunting, nah, I'm going AJ. There's a couple niche interactions with high impact reserves and like Lumina and specific resiliences. Nah. Explosive payload can double proc the origin trait. In my humble opinion, I wish this one was craftable so we could have DMT at home. It's not the same. Regular hipfire grip versus enhanced hipfire grip, not the same. And today I learned that exotic craftables do not have enhanced perks. So if we ever get exotic Hawkmoon, monkey's paw curls, man. It's not going to be enhanced hipfire, but at least the perk's there. Or maybe they're just going to remove the perk altogether and I'm going to get FOMO'd again. I don't know. We'll find out. Final weapon, I already talked about it in this video, is the Immortal SMG that is available from Trials of Osiris right now. This is the role I'm going for. Should come as no shock to you seeing the no survivors. It's the exact same. I really don't think there's an alternative here. You might say threat detector because of the information, but keep away kind of does that too. Keep away goes away when somebody is close. Threat detector activates when someone's close. Either way, the lack of information is information. So use that as you will. Know when to switch to your shotgun when you're aiming down sights because someone snuck up on you. Even if this perk didn't do anything except that, I would still be like, yeah, it's pretty good. But it gives you range and accuracy? Come on, dude. It's non-decision. Target lock's also a non-decision. I think that perk's problematic and honestly deserves being a body shot damage only, and it would still be incredible. In PvE, of course, they could change it to be even better. Right. Except for sandboxes. But if target lock ever gets nerfed, I hope that I have one with kill clip. Mostly because by the time I get a kill after shooting a lightning grenade off the wall, shooting a barricade by myself, comboing with my shotgun, and then having to 2v1 a guardian, I'm reloading somewhere in there, so it might as well be kill clip. I think that's it. Definitely not complaining for any specific reason here. By the way, this is the build I'm running in trials right now. If you want to go stop by the stream after watching this video and somehow being like, I want to hear him talk for a little bit more. I appreciate that, but spending too much time with me. Go watch like a different Destiny YouTuber for a little bit. No, I'm just playing. Anyhow, I was using this with Navigator. So I would give myself woven mail so that if someone melees me, it takes them 3 melees to kill and not 2, and then combining it with the power of stasis resist. And then I am going for what I call the web ball reality stone infinite combo. You know, from a different fighting game. It's trivia for you. You can go look up the video. I'm trying to lock somebody in place for as long as possible by chaining freezes with both cold snap, taking damage with torment, and refreshing my melee off of Glacial Harvest, and picking up stasis shards, which give me more health back with Rhyme. If I get the kill and drop an orb, I get my abilities back. If I melee kill, I get blunt execution rounds on the new 20 zoom BR because of the range changes. And then I have an opportunity to activate a neuron by snap targeting from my teammate to the opponent to proc woven mail. And so, a magical situation comes up in trials where I can freeze somebody repeatedly, have real use of stasis by pausing somebody out of the fight so I can gun their teammate, and then also build up the BXR perk in my backpack. It works a little differently than Swashbuckler. And then a power round comes up. I get to loop my freeze rift if I can trick a unsuspecting Titan into punching me repeatedly. Then I proc Dynamo, and then I get an early super. So is it ambitious? Yes, that's the point. It's not a good loadout. I'm going to repeat that again. This is not a good loadout. But it is so funny to see it in action, and maybe you'll enjoy watching it. So, how long has it been? 43 minutes! Yeah, definitely watch a different YouTuber than me. You know, all the usual ending video stuff. I'll see you in the next one.